welcome, everybody, to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with my brothers Damon and Jaquari Armstrong.
Hello,
We
how you
welcome
doing?
you. We welcome you to our situation, and really and truly, I want to say in the beginning, this is my segment, and then I'm gonna go into the house cleaning. But let me just get my segment out first and foremost. I'm thankful to be doing a podcast with my brothers, first and foremost. Then, secondly, this podcast has been able to give us the freedom to have conversation every Friday about different topics that's on our mind, that's on our spirit. We definitely and truly appreciate the fact that either you watch us live or you watch it later on our YouTube channel. Remember, go like, share, and subscribe, especially subscribe on Strong Perspective Podcast on YouTube. Build us up, people. Build us up. Take us to the point where we can go out, put us in the algorithm where we're going to reach more people. Because low key, this is one of the best kept secrets out there. This is why we bring it to you on Facebook and our YouTube channel every Friday at 7:30. We consistent. This is what we do. But let me tell you, I'm gonna give you a word tonight, and I want you to carry it with you. That word is communication, because communication is an important word. Because what you do is, whether it seems like you are in disagreement, if you're able to communicate to each other, to at least help each other understand what your point is, instead of trying to loud talk each other. Like me and my brothers, we disagree with each other all the fucking time. But the thing about it is, what we do is we hear each other out. We hear each other out. Isn't that organically one of the best ways to communicate? I might disagree with you. I might even go as far as saying you full of BS. But I heard what you said. I understand what you said. And you also understand where I'm coming from. Now, it's an overused term, but we always say, hey, let's agree to disagree. Meaning, my man, that BS you talking, I don't agree with it, but we're going to move on so we can go into something more organic. That's the big dog's perspective. Now, house cleaning, real quick before I go to my brothers. We have a YouTube channel. I don't have it down pat, but let me tell you something. I got 1,600 followers and I got 1,400 friends. I need every one of you who's watching this. Go to my YouTube channel. It's easy to do. Strong Perspective Podcast. Go to it and subscribe to it. That's all I need you to do. Just subscribe to it. Because you don't know, you might be on the wave of people being reached by this everyday conversation, because it's not absent on social media. But think about it. Everyday people do great things. The three people you see on the screen have succeeded in so many great ways. Fuck with us, because we'll fuck with you. Boy, how you doing today, man? How was your day?
I'm good, man. My day was wonderful, brother. But I just got to tell you that you fucked up the money at 319. No, and good and well, we them first 5 minutes. That's the golden
No,
time.
it's the first couple minutes, man. Too. We're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh well, shit.
I studied it. I'm on it. I'm on it.
There it is.
I'm on it.
Yeah, well,
All right. Well, tell us how you feel, my guy.
shit. Now that I got accurate information, I guess it's okay.
Damon, how you
Yeah.
doing today, brother?
Yeah, but before you name you was like this.
Hey, look, I typed it in my phone, and I'm sitting here through the rest of your segment. I was thinking, spoke, don't forget, spoke, don't forget, spoke. Because yeah, that that
Hey,
little
look,
that little
we.
jab you gave that little jab you gave me last week. I'm still laying for you, Jack.
I got you. I got you. And I'm waiting
Yeah,
for it too. I'm waiting
yeah.
for it. Now, think about it. At the time that you felt like we crossed the line, there was only one particular thing. We good with that. All right. Damon, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. You I was looking at the topics that you sent, and I was going through them, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of information out here, man. And I was trying to, I wrote my notes and all that stuff, but we'll see how if we get to them or not. Uh, everything good, man. You know.
Okay.
But as far as my day, man, hey, with the grandbaby, learning from her every day, being reminded of stuff from her every day. You know what I'm saying? What it is that I'm supposed to be focusing on, suggestions I can give. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, mostly learning from her, man. And it's a beautiful thing, brother.
That's real. That's real. So I tell you what, let's just keep it real funky because all three of us have put. I got one more left. And put children through college, right? Let's talk about this affirmative action decision by the Supreme Court. Now, I'm not asking you to be I'm asking your opinion. I'm not asking you to be an expert. I'm asking your opinion about it because what it did was their decision really affected affirmative action when it comes to college is concerned. I'll start with you, Damon, because you have the most children that you put through college. Tell me about what you think. What's your opinion?
My opinion, the first thing when the verdict came down, the first thing I thought about, man, was, do I know anybody that what I'm saying, knew that they were actually going through affirmative action, man? Or did they personally think that they got into those interviews or whatever through their own merit, man? You know what I'm saying? It's a tricky thing. You know what I'm saying? How can you bring about all these statistics and saying, hey, man, these many people got through because of affirmative action or whatever, where that person who's actually going through it did all the extra stuff, did all the hard work or whatever, and then in their mind and their thinking, I got accepted. I got the interview based on who I am and what I produce, my merit, right? Does it diminish that person when they say, well, we had to meet a quota, so we called you up? Then why did you call me up? Something had to catch your eye. You know what I'm saying? You had to go through my bio and understand, oh, this person is, damn, he is qualified. So in that aspect, the school is saying it'd be that'll be a hell of a thing to get this person into our program because they're going to enhance our program. I don't care if it's from Ivy League on down because that potential was there. But when you think about it in terms of the politics, man, They always say, well, you only got in here because of your skin color, you know. And totally dismiss, in my kid's case, totally dismissing all that hard work and dedication that I saw them doing. You know, so it's kind of like for me, it was like a slap in the face.
Gotcha.
Because none of my three kids benefited from affirmative action. They grind.
Yeah. You know, it sort of speaks to one of the topics we had last week, Keith, about what was it? Oh, it just shot out of my mind, man. No. Actually, it's yeah, about black people having to be twice as better. You know, it's along the same veins. I mean, as far as affirmative action, I was I used to be one of the people, man, and there are black people, in this mindset. I would tell people in conversations that I ain't never been affected. Affirmative action has never benefited me, and stuff along that lines. But in all actuality, and I just came to this realization recently, talking to my brother Damon, that I have absolutely no idea if affirmative action has affected me in any way. You know, there's those newsworthy cases where somebody, a qualified person, will obtain a position through affirmative action, but they hear whispers about their supervisors telling them just that, exactly that, throwing it up in their face. Yeah, well, you're a token hire. We had to hire you.
Imagine that.
Imagine that when you kicking ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
You kicking ass.
Yeah.
How many times have on any job that either of you guys have ever worked? How many times have you ever trained your supervisors?
All the fucking time.
And it's just like, and it's just like overnight, this same person who you basically got to tell, yeah, you don't tie your shoes like that around here. Things as simple as that. The very next day, they your boss. So I mean, I have absolutely.
You talking about with the same credentials, but you with more work experience, right?
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah,
Of course.
and more, and just being who we are, more opportunities, to express that work experience, because being reliable people, being stand up people, being people who deserve positions or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
But here's the thing that trips me out, man. Is handling adversity. As an African American male, man, as a black man, put it that way. How many times have you faced adversity, didn't get the situation, but you overcame it? See, those are the things that's not being factored in. You know, nobody pays attention to those statistics, man.
mm-hmm.
How many times have you tried for a position and it took you 2 or 3 times to get that position, even though you were qualified at that point, might possibly overqualified for it?
No doubt.
Yep. Yep. Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
Damon, let me ask you this: when the stock market crashed back in the 20s, how many black people, how many black men jumped off of those buildings and killed themselves?
Zero.
Zero.
Adversity is a meal that we've always had to eat cold, never hot, always cold.
Great point.
And that's the worst way to eat a meal is cold.
1440. Going back to you, baby boy. Go ahead, Damon. Finish.
It's just everybody, man, based on their own individual experience or whatever, everybody can feel like they're offended, man. But the most thing that you're offended by is that you want to, what's that term they use now, punch down at the people who only make up a small percentage of, in terms of college enrollment and stuff like that. Where we at, like 11, 12, 13%? You know what I'm saying?
It's
But
comparable to the population.
Right. Right. But then you got other people that's above us that's saying, well, these people are taking slots from us, where you are sitting at like 24%, 27%. You know what I'm saying? And the true affirmative action situation that exists in these universities and colleges is the legacy stuff, man. The students are who parents work for that university. You talking about what? 41% of those people? Yet they don't even mention that.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So what is the motivation here? What is the motivation here? You want to make sure because Michigan, they did their thing where they took out affirmative action at Michigan in 2006. You know what I'm saying? So their enrollment went from what 14% down to 4% now to this very day.
Wow.
And they said that we're working on the problem. We're working on the problem, but they can hang their hat on. Well, we still have our amount of minorities that are attending, and we're still kind of meeting our quota. But then you ask them, well, what about the African Americans whose numbers dropped since y'all had stated these policies? They have no answer for that. We're trying to do other outreach stuff. So you're passing the buck. You don't want to take responsibility, okay? You know, but you don't stop. But you can't stop or discourage young African Americans from applying and still trying. Man.
Okay.
It's just another hurdle. I mean, we always have hurdles that we have to overcome. You think just because they made that verdict, man, it's going to change anything? Our lives are still the same. It's still going to be the same thing. And when the playing field is right, guess who always, you know what I'm saying, overcome?
Okay. Now,
Good point. Good point, bro.
yeah, yeah. And Benita, I like what you said as far as what gets you into college is not what keeps you into college. You know, and she also put in, and then I'm gonna let you guys see this. She said, "What is the percentage of students that are non-athletes?" So, which is a great fucking point because what these major universities do is they add into the athletes that they bring in on scholarship to add upon what they do. Now, the smart universities separate the two because what they try to do, in my opinion, is they try to appease the government because they want their government dollars. Even though they try to be private institutions, they still rely on a certain amount of money from the government. That's just the American way. So let me just say this because it's the three of us, so I'm going to chime in to, as far as this, what this is concerned, is I agree with you both. And the thing about it is, we have a choice in our community because we do have reputable uh, black college universities that really and truly, education-wise, are upper echelon. It's a choice that we teach our children because what we do is, as Americans, because I'm going to include us as Americans, because we have just as much as a stake in this country as anybody else. We have a choice, even though it's been preached to us that the only choices, right? The only choices really and truly that's out there is the predominantly white institutions. Bottom line is it's about your education because in these giant corporations, there are a mixture of every minority that's pushing that corporation to the top, the Fortune 500. You'll sit there and say, oh, we'll look at the figureheads. right? We'll look at the figureheads and like, yo, man, it's because of him. No, it's the people that's propping them up. So when you look at the people that's propping them up, there are so many minorities who trying to grab on to the quote unquote American dream. So they're throwing their expertise. The men and women are throwing their expertise into these corporations and making them stronger. We're talking about affirmative action when it comes to colleges because that's what the Supreme Court decided on, right? But to be perfectly honest, and Damon alluded to this, we don't have enough based on affirmative action because we have other folks who are have double, have two jobs trying to support themselves, have parents who working hard to get them through. That belongs to those colleges too. That they include into their system to make them seem that they're upright. Because guess what? We as black people in our community, we have middle class wealth. It is what it is. Not enough middle class wealth, but we do have it. And these folks send their children to school. You understand what I'm saying to you? What I'm trying to do is consider everything because everything factors in. Because when it comes to our community, you know what they do? They group everything. I need to repeat that to you. They group everything into what our community does. That's it. You feel me? Now let me put this up there because sister-in-law, do you feel DEI is a legitimate or just a new political correct catchphrase?
You got to loop me in.
Damon?
DEI is because I was thinking about the last one that you put up. She talking
I
about the
get, I
word.
get it, I get it. Look. Don't pretend. If you don't know, we're gonna ask sister-in-law to tell us what the
Well, she
fuck
can
it is.
elaborate on it. You know what I'm saying?
You see, I got in early. Like, hey man, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about, brother. So I'm gonna just ease back.
Look, people watching this shit understand we are organically three intelligent human beings, right? But sometimes we don't know everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Diversity, equality, equity, inclusion.
That's a hell of a. I mean, it might
I
be
can
the.
assume what it is though, but
Yeah. I'm just going off assumption, but I mean, it it has all the popular words that really encompass equality. I believe. I mean, as black people, I don't think diversity, equity, inclusion uh, puts us in the forefront of anybody.
it's real.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's situations I could see where hell, even a white man could benefit from such a thing. Uh, as far as inclusion goes, man, I mean, what the world needs to realize is not only for African Americans, but for certain sections of societies all over the world, downtrodden people, man, fuck inclusion. We need to have some shit. we need that. We need to have some resources, particular resources named for us, put aside for us, in order for us to to be able to function on the equal playing field. That's just what it is. I'm probably one of the most conservative motherfuckers that I know. But all my life I've been affected by being a black man. It affects me, not always positively.
No doubt.
And when I sit back and ask myself, well, why do I have to navigate those negative reactions, man? I can't come up with an answer because the people who are perpetrating, this fuckery towards me, they don't know why they're doing it. They're going off of
Good
what
point.
they see. They're going off
Good
what they
point.
see, right? And and,
Good
and what
point, Jamal.
and they've been taught all their lives that what they see, in terms of me, in terms of us, is inferior. You know, how can I start the race? When you're 100 yards ahead of me already, and then if I try to build my own without your help, then you call me a radical. You say I'm not patriotic, because the country that I live in, the land that I occupy, has so much fucking animus towards me. That's just what it is.
I
And
think
like I said, not just for us, but there's communities all over the world. Where the majority just shits on people, man.
but you know what? That is the way of the world, and it is really and truly like in other communities, like in the white community. It's like, well, look, why are you blaming me because my my family didn't own slaves, or I don't feel that way, or I don't feel this, and I don't feel that. That is absolutely true, but understand the fact that if you don't acknowledge there was something put in place and you're ignoring it, it's just like going along with it.
Mm.
And look, this is
Hey,
not putting an
man.
indictment, and I really need to say this. It's not putting an indictment on you as a human being because your heart might be pure. You may be a great human being, but do not take it personal if I say to you, listen, this happened and I have not been able to get over it, or I take it personally. It's not an indictment on you.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because like, come on, man, that's logical conversation.
You know what my response is, because I've had those conversations. My response to people who say, "Well, my family didn't own slaves." I'm like, yeah, okay, your family didn't own slaves, but to this day, you and your family still don't have to live and suffer under the same fucking scrutiny that me and my people have to.
Mm-hmm.
And an example of that is having a conversation with a person who will see an injustice happen in real time and come to you and speak to that injustice, and then in the following conversation tell you that my family never didn't own slaves.
And you know what? And Jaquari, not to, I'm sorry to jump in, but that's black and white. When I run into a brother and sister who try to justify someone doing something horrible, a human being, whether they're black or white, doing something horrible to somebody, and then you say to me, well, I'm opening up a new can of worms, but yo, I'm willing to debate this shit. Well, his life was messed up, and he was born behind the eight ball. Yes, I get that, but I understand this wholeheartedly. He still or she still understand the difference between right and wrong. You make the decision to do it, right? But do not try to convince me that I should be on your side because your life was messed up. Parts of our lives was messed up, right? But we still made some better decisions despite of the messed up part. Not comparing myself or us to other people. It has nothing to do with that. My point is understanding right or wrong.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing that blows my mind because I take it personal, and the reason why I take it personal, not because of the history of it, and all that stuff. Because it's real funny how they go back to slavery. Where they skip over Jim Crow and civil rights and all that. They skip over all that shit. Whereas, hell, that's our parents' age. Here, we was on the back end of that shit. So I don't want to hear all that dumb shit, man. When we figure out how to overcome the roadblocks that y'all put before us, you move the damn goalposts. You know what I'm saying? You move the goalposts to the point where you would wait 50 years to stack the damn courts to come up with this decision. Whereas, at the end of the day, guess what? It's not going to affect black people any damn way. Because guess what we always had to do?
Smoking mirrors, dog. Smoking
mirrors. Because we always had to overcome the roadblocks. Now, Nita put up the Welfare Act and Pell Grants, right? Y'all do know Pell Grants is a welfare program, right?
Of course.
It's a welfare program. Guess who gets that? Everybody across the board. That's not an affirmative action thing. Everybody, it all depends on your economic situation. Everybody gets it, right?
So let me just say this before you even further. When it comes to the word welfare, should it be our expectation that we should receive it when it comes to welfare?
Well, didn't the Welfare Act derive out of the 14th Amendment, man? You know what I'm saying? Didn't they come up with all these different... Because if you would go through and look at the 14th Amendment and the Welfare Act and all that stuff, and you see all these different things that were put in place not only to help African Americans and minorities, but to help everybody, people who are not economically sound or whatever. It was put in place to help everybody. So if you look at the direction that this court and all these politicians trying to move towards, they want to make sure that none of us are in the position to be able to better ourselves or move up, you know what I'm saying, in terms of our generational wealth and all that stuff. They putting all these things in place. They didn't talk about the legacy issues. They didn't talk about the parents being to go to school for free because your parents worked there. They didn't talk about that stuff. They didn't talk about, those type of things didn't come up. And it's ironic to me because that is offensive. That is offensive because that is, what do you call it? That's privileged shit. Oh, we're not going to speak on that because that has nothing to do with, because our kids are qualified. They did this survey where they said if you went through and you retested all those kids who got through legacy stuff, 72% of them wouldn't even be accepted at the university. You see what I'm saying? Where's that? Where's the conversation about that? How come Thomas is not speaking on that? You understand what I'm saying? And then at the meantime, when you're talking about the HBCU schools, right? Guess who's, I'm not going to use infiltrate, but guess who's going to those colleges and take advantages of those federal monies that's coming in there?
Because they're supposed.
So who's talking? Right? Who's talking? What person is standing up in front of the world and saying, we could not get into Howard because a white student took our slot?
I get it.
Because they are.
And it happens.
And they getting federal money to fucking do it.
But here's the thing.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's a great point. And Jaquari, we're going to go into your segment after this, right? When we look at exactly the logic in what's going on. Because a lot of times what we do is think about it, affirmative action, all these different things that's going on. We go off it off of good faith more than logic. Because every time the federal government enacts a law before us and after us, it's off of good faith. Because you are an American citizen, and what you should do is follow what goes on, right? But think about it. Roe versus Wade, affirmative action. My own personal opinion, it's a smoke screen because it helped us to both were Roe versus Wade that never really helped us. My opinion now.
No, there's a section who
No,
would
no, listen,
absolutely
listen
help.
what I'm saying to you. Listen to what I'm saying. I understand the law. So it's not I'm debating the law. What I'm saying to you is this. There are more African American women who went along with the pregnancy than not. I don't have the statistics, right?
Right.
But I can safely say that the majority went along with the pregnancy.
You know the thing, man, that
No, no, no. Let me finish this real quick. So, affirmative action. The percentage, college wise and business wise, I think that they challenged the business wise 10 years ago to try to get rid of it. I don't know if they did or not. But the point is this. It is not enough to where you think that the Supreme Court should even look at it to change. It's all smoking mirrors. My opinion, you believe it or not, it is what it is. But it's all smoke and mirrors because the percentage is so small. Us benefited from affirmative action is so fucking small. Then why are you wasting so much resources, even bringing it to the Supreme Court? Think about it. They had Asian people, not white people, because it's been done before and they lost. Asian people disputed.
and that's because they was propped up to do that, man. But here's the thing. This is where my mind at. I understand what you're saying, Keith, but there were some people who did benefit from affirmative action. That actually happened, man.
Of course.
It just didn't meet the numbers that it should have because
It was not enough. It was
maybe
not
because it was
enough.
roadblocks there. Who knows the situation? But at the end of the day, in that aspect, I think black people, African Americans, still overcame it the best way they can because you can talk about affirmative action in these Ivy League schools. Think about this: how many African American students got accepted at the school, got rooms, but didn't have money to go? So I'm saying that happens more than more than anything. But here is the question that I'm asking: when you talk about the welfare act, you talk about federal monies. When you talk about Pell Grant, you talk about federal monies, right? Then when they talk about black people taking stuff, you know what they don't talk about? They don't talk about the students who are white or whoever, across the board equally, wash out, but the schools still get that federal money. You understand what I'm saying?
That's the whole game.
They still get that federal money, and plus, they still that those monies that goes towards affirmative action scholarships and programs. Guess what? They still expecting to get some of that money. They're just changing the faces.
No
They're
doubt.
just changing the faces. You know, I would venture to guess, man, that Harvard would look at a student and say, okay, you blew out the your scores and all that stuff. Where the extra shit at? What else did you do?
I get it.
What else did you do? Look at my scores. Well, we want a more well-rounded person, and we want to accept that's going to enhance our university more. They don't hear that they failed. They don't hear that they didn't do enough. What they hear is, oh, they just want to they're going to kick me out so they can put this African American in this position and take my slot. With the arrogance enough not to recognize that African American, you was put before he was, or she was, and she was more qualified than you, or he was more qualified than you.
Good
You know
point.
what I'm saying? But you didn't make the mustard. You didn't do it. You didn't take care of business. You didn't volunteer enough. And if you put the resumes together, yes, you scored high because you went to a school that provided tutors and all these different programs to help you with the SATs and all that. Whereas the African American student had to find somebody to help them get through it, or bust their ass and study for these things and these exams. Plus, at the same time, work. Plus, at the same time, volunteer. Plus, at the same time, I'm speaking about my kids now. You know what I'm saying? I would put my kids up to anybody, any student in this country. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw them in real time. Okay, what else do I need to do to just get noticed? And they went and done it. And their resume this damn thick. So you could put mine up against any damn, but I don't care. Just because you went to a more prestigious high school and you got all this stuff, you know what I'm saying, at your hand. Now who do you look like? Now who do you look like? You look like that group of people that's excluding you and pitting you against the people that's right there with you. Combined legacy and all that stuff is way more than all the minorities combined together.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. And then we're going to move into your segment, Jaquar. The one thing, because I always take a common sense approach to everything. Even if it swings my way, I still take a sensical approach to things. Is these students feel that an African American has taken their place because they are told that an African American has taken their place. These students, these African American students who benefit by Harvard, who benefit by UNC, because they fit under the criteria of affirmative action, are used as scapegoats to these folks, even though that student has better grades and is better qualified. Because you got to understand, when it comes down to the minority, when it comes to a university, when it comes down to the minority, those are upper echelon in minorities, right? But when it comes to white, I hate to use that word, but when it comes to the majority of people in those universities, those folks are dropped down into the depths of the minority realm. And the minorities are used as scapegoats. Like, oh, you almost made it, but if it wasn't for affirmative action and this minority, you would have been in our school, which is some horse shit. It's just making the university look good. Oh, we wanted you. How many times y'all done that? How many times? Yo, man, dog, I wanted you there, but if it wasn't for slow mo, I had to pick up slow mo because that's my, Yeah, there's some nepotism right here, slow mo. There's some bullshit because a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, those minorities are more qualified than that lower echelon majority, but they do not want to accept it.
You want to know what? You want to know? Let me say this, but
Real quick, then we're gonna go into the quiet
you want to know
segment.
what's the funniest shit in the world, man? Is how you got these institutions like Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, all that stuff. They're gonna accept. They're all about business, man. They're all about reputation. They're all about legacy. They're all
All
about
the
that stuff.
colleges are too,
You
dog.
understand what I'm
Because
saying? They're all about that. So you mean to tell me that this administration and these boardrooms are going to say, "Hey, man, let's go find us a couple of non-qualified people to meet the criteria." You know what I'm saying? Just so the government won't mess with us. You
good
know what I'm saying?
question.
Get the fuck out of it.
Why
Really?
would they? Why would
They
they do
going.
that?
You know what they're doing? They are going and they're going to find the best of the best
It's what it is.
to be at their institution.
They have a reputation. That's what the
You know what
fuck
I'm
it
saying?
is.
Right.
Jaquari, you're
Yes,
running a
sir.
little behind, but it's your segment, my guy. Halfway through.
All right, so it's sweet, man. Uncle Spoke say, hey, man, I truly relish the opportunity, to do this thing with y'all every Thursday and Friday, man. It's definitely check several boxes on my expectation for this experience, man. We hanging out all the time, we talking, we communicating, we having grown folks adult conversation, man. Like today, for instance, we chopping it up. You know, subject matter be down, man. Uh, I would I would put us up, man, against anything that you see on Instabook or Facegram. You know what I mean? Hey, man, we got a hot thing going here, bro. We got a hot thing going, and I really like an opportunity, man, for us to be able to express some of our opinion, man, to a larger stage. And I'm not pandering, man. I'm not, because if it doesn't grow any bigger than it is right now, I'm still enjoying myself. But I think we say a lot of things, man, that you know black people, hell, some white people, Spanish, other minorities or whatever, man, that people can relate to. You know, we don't attack people. We don't we don't uh we don't alienate people. You know, sitting on screen with us, man, it's just like sitting in a room with us. We chopping it up and we family. We having a good time. We talking. We learning things. Damon, I had, you brought up some points, man, that I had no idea. But that's who we are. That's who we are, and I appreciate that, man. And like I said, man, I cherish it, and I look forward to more. I really do look
Definitely.
forward to more,
Appreciate that, bro.
and
No
that's
doubt.
what Uncle Spoke said.
No doubt. Now listen, this Strong Perspective podcast, right? My brothers tease me a lot of times about my lisp. That's because I sucked my thumb when I was up until maybe 12 years old. I did it secretly as 12, but I got a lisp. So I'm going to say it again. Strong Perspective Podcast. That's what we do on YouTube. We give y'all the real. We give y'all, we give our listeners and people who follow us, we give you real conversation from everyday people. The guests that we've had on, and I've been on it lately, I've been on it. The guests that we've had on have been spectacular. The men and women that's came onto our show, that's opened up to us, because that's our goal. Open up. Let's have a conversation. That's what we do. Me and my brothers, we think we are the same mind, but we think in different directions of the same mind. That's why I love this shit. You know what I'm saying? So please go to our channel, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to us so we can take our algorithm up and more people can reach us. That's our goal. Because what we do is promote real conversation with people. Am I saying that other podcasts or other shows or whatever don't talk about the real? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying to you is the people that know me and my brothers is the realness of it. All right. So with that being said, we ain't changing it up a little bit. We're not changing it up, but what we're gonna do is gonna switch to another subject that we always talk about, and we talk about relationships in our community, right? More importantly, the violence that we experience in our community. So what I'll do, I'll start it off so Damon and Jaquari, so y'all understand where I'm coming from,
Yeah.
because really and truly, it is a generalized blanket statement on what I just said, that question. So I've been a police officer for 30 some odd years, retired, right? But people who know me know that it didn't affect the human being that I was. I was always the same. I hate the fact that you talk to me about, especially if you a hustler and you say I'm a sellout, then you really don't know me. That's some horse shit. First and foremost, I'm a sellout if I say that you robbing motherfuckers or you selling drugs and I'm supposed to be good with that. No, sir, because I'm not in the business that you in. I'm in the business of my community becoming something more. That's what I see. Am I shitting on what you're doing? To a point, because if you harming people, I got a fucking problem with that. I can't help it, but I do. Have I fucked up in the past? Yes. But I didn't never cross the line of robbing the motherfucker or selling drugs. I said that to say to you, am I looking down on you? No. But don't you dare try to compare me and say that I am the feds, the police, and this and that when I care about my community. So let me continue on to this. I had a conversation with one of my brothers, or maybe a friend. I can't remember because I'm old as fuck. 58. So I'm old as fuck, in my opinion. But I had a conversation with somebody that I remember. And what I remember is this. I remember a lot of the things that we see throughout my teens and my 20s and my 30s that we see nowadays, I saw back then. But the only difference is I'm 58 and I have so much to lose because I'm able to reflect on my past life and my present. So what it does to me is it really concerns me because my vision is clearer than it's ever been. So these youngins, I'm trying to figure out, and somebody can help me with this, either now or later on. I'm trying to figure out, why do you when you're not trying to protect your life, you go forward to take somebody else's life. And you think that it don't affect your freedom, because it does. People know you did it, you're going to prison.
Hell, that's because people convince themselves they can get away with it, man.
But here's what's so crazy about it. You can't. Because the more people to know, oh, your reputation is, oh, yeah, he this, he a shooter, he's this. But really and truly, somebody's going to say, yo, that's a killer right there, and he don't belong on the street. It's that simple,
You know,
right?
you know, you know what trips me out, man. You know how the United States can send the army off to war, man, and those young, it's usually the young people, and they come home, they got PTSD and they're committing suicide and all that stuff because they can't live with the horrors of war.
Yeah.
But you got some dude on the street saying he about that life. Really? Yeah, you got some cats out there that's psychopathic, man. Sociopathic. You got people out there like that. But overall, man, human beings have regret and sometimes it's about being caught up, man. It's crimes of passion and it's situational shit, man.
That's real.
You know, and people get caught up in it, man. Depending on who you are or who you allow to soup you up with that drama. But once you get jammed up and you live it and you in prison for the rest of your life, you're trying to figure out ways to be free and start your life over. When the damage is done, I get that. But do y'all believe that most people who do these type of crimes come to the understanding that, man, if I would have did something different, if I would have made a different choice, or are we those people? And I'm speaking about African Americans. Are we those people that the world tried to depict us as people who has no conscience and we just killers? Because I ain't seen nobody go in the city of Detroit and say, hey, I want all y'all on this corner. We're going to take y'all to Iraq so y'all can fight a war because that's what y'all good at, killing people. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't happening no damn way. It ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? If we are who they try to depict us at, then the biggest recruiting area would be in those areas, right? This is where all the murder happens, so they'll be good in the war situations and stuff. It's all, you know what I'm saying? It's all. I'm not gonna say bullshit because the same thing that's happening in our community is happening in other communities too. They just highlight our shit because it's easiest to do. Because everybody wants to look at us and say, I ain't as bad as them.
That's real.
I ain't as bad as them. So that's what. So to clear their conscience, they want to stand on that shit, just like they stand on the affirmative action stuff, and they say, "Y'all here because you black. No, we here because we're smarter than you." You know what I'm saying? But we just got recognized. I actually got recruited to Uplift University. You didn't, and I can prove it. But what do? They throw out these fake. People don't realize statistics can be skewed and made to look a certain way. We 14% of this damn population, and they say we commit the most murders. By numbers, we can't do that shit. They're speaking about what we do in our own community, but they try to make it at large that we killing everybody. It's a lie. It's a lie. And those people who are committing those crimes, the majority of the African American community lives in the gray area. They live in that area where you got parents, be it single or together, tell the sons and daughters, don't mess with that because that's going to take you down that line. Some of my kids fall to the wayside. But is that the majority, man?
I don't believe it.
It is. It's not the majority. But if you look at Fox News and all these clown ass people who have no clue, want to put that statistic up there because they know other people want to believe it. Hey man, you are the one of the good ones. You're not like them. Hey, we got opportunities for you. Oh, you didn't get into Harvard? That's because of them. You know, and here it is, black families, mamas working extra hard to keep insurance on their babies while they're in college. You know what I'm saying? So their kids are insured and shit. You know what I'm saying? Working extra hours to pay tuition and giving them what they can for room and board. That's what our community does, man. All this other stuff, talking about how violent we are. Hell, everybody violent. I am more threatened by walking in a white neighborhood than I am in a black neighborhood. Imagine that shit, bro. Because anybody, it might be an old woman to come out and shoot my ass. Is it an old black woman gonna come out and shoot my ass in the black neighborhoods? Have you ever seen that happen?
If I'm trying to kick down her door,
If you're trying to kick down her door, exactly. But if we go to a white neighborhood, you don't think a Karen ain't gonna come up and put our lives in jeopardy?
They don't come up and press the shit out you.
they're
Do,
gonna
do the math, man.
they're gonna do it because they've been conditioned. Now if you're in the neighborhood who and you in the neighborhood ain't about shit, you trying to do the come up. But if you were in there on the righteous situation, yo, my car broke down, or I'm trying to sell shit. How many times? Let me tell you something. Jaquar, you can go after me. I worked for the Wake County Sheriff Department for 22 years. And I worked in predominantly black neighborhoods and predominantly white neighborhoods. In the white neighborhoods, I have gotten calls constantly. Good fucking neighbors now, but constantly where it was a black man going door to door. Y'all know y'all familiar with this, knocking on the door trying to sell magazines. Y'all familiar with them folks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting those calls and coming and investigate them people constantly for 22 years. I'm doing my job, right? But I'm aware that the only time I get a call when it's a black face associated. Good neighbors like, yo, I don't know this man. And he happened to be black and I'm watching Fox News. So let me call just in case. You see what I'm saying? That's really and truly, that's the crux of the whole situation. Am I indicting the fact that they're calling because they're black? No, because you heard me say they are good neighbors. Because I want my neighbors, white and black, if they know that it's certain people, white and black, ain't supposed to be in my yard, because I've had that too, where it was moving vans in people's yards, moving out all the furniture, but they just happen to have white faces. They just happen to have white faces, move out all the furniture. They're robbing that house. They wouldn't say anything. But when it was a black face doing the same thing, it was an instant call. Is it an indictment on them people, or is it the fact that they have been conditioned to think white is right, black is not?
It all depends on the circumstances. Did the black innocent person
That's
get
my
hurt?
point. I'm throwing it out there as a question more than a statement. And I'm going off the expertise of what I've done. I've actually experienced. See what I'm saying? Which is funny. But go ahead, Jaquari.
I mean, as far as violence goes, man, violence is a tool. You know, it's one of many tools. I mean, it all depends on the personal development, man. On whether they're equipped to use the other ones. You
Gotcha.
know, of course, you always gonna go back to you go to if solving problems well if punching somebody in the face has solved the problem for you in the past, it's always at the top of your options list. But we're in a position, man, where you know with the affirmative action thing, things are steadily being taken away from us. Not that we had the chance to use those opportunities, you know, from the onset. But I mean, what's going to be next? What's going to be next? I mean, my my non-cynical mind, man, kind of makes me ask the question. Well, kind of makes me make the statement that maybe it was a good thing for affirmative action to end in colleges, man. I mean, because it's going to put us it's going to put us in a position to sink or swim,
That's real.
you know. And as my brother Damon is stated so eloquently earlier, man, we've always been in a position where we had to sink or swim. We always had to be in that. We were always in that position, So I mean, it's it's a tricky subject, man. It's a tricky subject. I don't really have. I really can't put a good bow on that.
I mean, and I understand why you can't, but you brought up some great points, though. You know what I mean? It's really what it is. So, in these last 15 minutes or so, what I want you to do, talk about how important you think this podcast is to yourself and to the people who watch. We'll start with you, Jaquar.
Once again, as I stated during my statement, man, this podcast, man, is birthed so many opportunities for me, man. As far as communication with y'all, hell, as far as personal growth, man. I've heard myself say things on this podcast, man, that I've only thought, and once I verbalize those thoughts, I'm kind of getting in the mindset of putting those thoughts into action. So that's a positive thing. Uh, as far as expectations, man, as far as exposure, I'm really open. I'm really open to the process. In the beginning, for some strange reason, probably because I'm an American, I thought we was just gonna, be on here a few times and just blow the fuck up and just be, the goddamn next thing smoking.
You
But it
said
takes,
American, huh? I got
yeah,
you, dog.
yeah. I want my shit right now. Americans, man, we don't have no real tradition.
That's real.
We don't have no real tradition, man. And all of our all the tradition in our community, man, is they try to stomp on it, and they tell us that things like jumping the broom, is important to us as a community. It is. Don't get me wrong, but we had traditions before. We were chattel.
No doubt.
It's certain things that
Good point.
it's certain things that came out of slavery, out of bondage, man, that became our African American traditions, man. And I don't know if it's healthy for us to hold fast to those traditions, man. Like chitlins. I don't know a lot of people who still eat chitlins.
Well, chitlins is a survival food, man. It's
Yeah,
survival.
but
It's what it
do
is.
you know how expensive them fuckers are though? They are
Yeah,
They're
very
man.
expensive.
expensive.
I can't eat them,
You
man.
know, but the bottom line, you know why they're expensive? It's because the fact that we had to, it was our go-to. on holidays,
Yeah.
and they knew that they had something that we wanted. And I'm speaking in general terms. There's no conspiracy here, but just people when it comes to consumer shit. But go ahead, Jaquari, finish.
Yeah. I mean, but even though that being said, man, I mean, it's as close as we are in Virginia to freaking Smithfield, North Carolina. Shouldn't be paying no $25 to $30 for a bucket of doggone chitlins.
That's real.
And the reason that's happened is because we like chitlins as a community, but we don't control the industry. Something as simple as chitlins.
Something that you all you got to do is you grab some intestines, pig intestines, and
Yeah,
clear the shit out of it for a 2 day, 2.5 day process.
it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to
Man,
be,
you
but
can't y'all can't get me to eat no chillins to save my life, boy.
hell no.
No, no, no. And let me tell you something. Grandma and Mama are the only two people that will eat their chitlins, and they are in glory. So, Fluke, I'm gonna go, and then I want you to bring us on home. So you answer the question, right? And then we're gonna go into your segment. All right. Now, Jaquari, what was the question that I asked you?
I don't remember. I thought I thought I danced around enough to make y'all tired and shit to forget.
Okay.
Yo, mental
Let's
note. Step your game up, spoke.
write it down. Write it down. Um, Mostly it had to do with just the violence in the community. I'm believing so.
No, you asked about the podcast, man. What did he get out of it? And
Okay,
all that.
there it is. Thank you, sir. Damn, you on point tonight, my guy. That's what I'm talking about. My man always come through when I need him to come through. Podcast. Basically, my expectation is this. My expectation has been met to be able to come on every Friday for the last year and a half with my brothers, and we talk about things that we talk about. Now, let me just say this to you. I pay attention when we go live. I pay attention to the left hand corner, the upper left hand corner, about who's watching and what likes. I shouldn't do it, but that's what I do, right? Because I'm so anxious for people to understand what we talk about and what we and our guests engage in. Because to me, to be perfectly honest, the conversation is important. The conversation is important on what we're trying to do. Now, we're not trying to steer you guys into whatever propaganda that we see fit. What we're trying to do is help you to understand the Strong Perspective podcast. That it's okay to have a discussion with people, even if you disagree with them. It's what it is. Me personally, let me keep it a buck. Because I want to keep it a buck. I want you to guys and young ladies to understand where I'm coming from. I take it personal that I have so many people that I'm in contact with, friends and family, that don't tune in. I take that shit personally. Not because I want to be a star, not because of this and that, but because we give you great content. We as individuals, as great men, as loving fathers, as loving husbands, we give you great content. The people that we bring on to the show as loving mothers and loving fathers and loving wives and loving husbands, we give you great content. But guess what you do? Speculation, man. I'm not saying you do this. It's speculation. You surf through Instagram or you surf through YouTube to find that pow, tease, boom, boom, bow, boo, bow, 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 bow of nonsense. No,
It
I'm
sounds like a
sorry.
drug to me.
No, no,
That
no,
Rick,
no.
that rickety bow out this motherfucker.
Motherfucker. Smoke. You fucking right. Luke, you fucking
Oh, they
right.
like this talking about. There it is.
Hey man,
Woo!
hey man,
Woo!
is y'all as high as I am?
You know what's so crazy about it is I was going down the path to downplay other people's shit. No. I want you to include us in your spin. That's it. Yes, include us in on your watch. That's all. I don't want you to X out no one.
Please don't.
You know what I'm saying? Why would I want you to do that? I want you to eat us up along with everybody else that you feeding off of. That's all. Not because I want us to be famous. No, because I and my brothers want you to be full. We are that roux when it comes to crab. We are that stuffing when it comes to Thanksgiving. We are that motherfucking fries when it comes to your fucking double cheeseburger with bacon. We are that fucking filler that's gonna bring you the fuck home. Stop playing. Stop fucking playing. You know why? Because the three of us have lived our life in so completeness where it was normal, between normal and shady. All this shit in between. We complete.
Yeah, you gonna have to be careful of that now, brother.
Hey, it is what it is. You
This
got to go to work every day. So
yeah, it's taking me
be
years.
quiet. Look.
Taking
Let
me
me tell you
years
something.
to establish this here man. Come on now.
Let me tell you, my brother Spoke and my brother Fluke, they didn't go on the journey that I came on. So please don't include them into that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't throw
You
that
know
caveat
why?
out there. Huh?
You want to know why? Because they are upright individuals. They are there.
Hey man, my shit is cultivated, brother.
That's what I'm talking about. So Damon,
Cultivated.
take us on home. Answer the question, and then go into your segment, brother.
As far as me, man, as far as I'm concerned, man, the expectations is, when we see each other, man, the days that we meet, man, it's a good thing because we live states apart from each other, man. And we are it's not forced, but we are obligated to spend this time with each other, man. So as far as the content is concerned, if you feel it, you feel it. If you don't, you don't. That's on you. We can be sensationalized if you want to. I can talk about a whole lot of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Do that all day. But as far as realizing, man, that you got three men here, man, that love and adore each other and happy to be in each other's fucking presence, be it on a podcast or whatever, that is meaningful. And you recognize that shit when you start losing people in your life, man. So, you decide whether it is, what it is that you want to be entertained by, But if you want to feel at home and shit, you can tell by the number of guests we have, man. We are personable people. We open. We like to dialogue. If you want to be a part of that, then join us. You know what I'm saying? And be interactive. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the hell your motivation is, but it be interactive. If you just tune in and say, "Oh, they ain't talking about nothing," before your ass leaves, push that button. You know what I'm saying? Do that. And I'm good with you. You know. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to expanding our dialogue, man, getting into some things. And we talked about affirmative action tonight. We talked about violence in the community. There are some other things I would like, for us to do our homework on, and just give our opinion and ask people to come in and chat with us about it. You know, that'd be a beautiful thing. You know, and you gonna take what you take out of it. You know, but what I wanted to end with, man, what I wanted to end with is I spoke about the gray area. Man, there is a lot of dialogue, especially between the three of us, man, who pretty much achieved that so quote unquote American dream situation where where you had a house and car and the kids and all that stuff and educating them out. We know how to navigate. We know how to navigate that shit, man, like no other. You know what I'm saying? So when they strike down the affirmative action and all these different things, you know what I'm saying? We not shook up about that, man, because we know that's what we face. That's what we've been facing. Me 57, Corey 50, and Key 58. We've been facing that kind of shit every day. You know, and the ones before us taught us how to navigate and overcome those. And each generation is better. Each generation is more intelligent. Each generation is more educated. You know what I'm saying? Each generation knows what it takes to move into a situation where you can spread your wings and be imaginative and create shit. Don't get lost in the damn weeds with the bullshit about what they're taking away from us because we've been second class citizens, man, since they fed us that lie when they gave us our so-called rights. We've been that. You know what I'm saying? Think about all the times you've been turned down, or turned away or not even paid attention to, but you circumvented that shit and became successful any damn way. They want to talk about whose spots they taking. No, learn from us. I'm talking about black people. Learn from us. Learn how to navigate and all that. And then your ass won't be sitting around complaining because you ain't get your free ride or you ain't get your turn because you work so hard in the classroom. My kids, they whole getting into college expanded outside the classroom. They had to meet people. They had to engage with people. And in doing that, they had to be consistent with it to that person who was in a position to help them, trusted them. And say, hey, you know what? Because you are this and you have this type of character, because that's the one thing that this country don't recognize. When you see a young black African American male or woman make it, it's because of their character. And y'all coming in with that bullshit about they stealing stock. No, man. They're successful because of their character. Like Martin Luther said, the content of your character. So miss me with all that. I seen the struggle within my own house. 3. Struggling. Figured it out. And in debt. So when you come up with these little snide ass comments about somebody taking your place, you ain't even did half the work. You ain't even did half the work. So y'all kick rocks with that, man. And those young kids, if they're able to hear this message, keep doing what you're doing, making your connections with people, getting them to recognize that you are worth the effort, man. Get them to recognize that you are worth investing in, because over the landscape, that's what our kids are doing. In spite of. In spite of. So you can threaten to take away what the hell you want. Like my brother said, we lived off chitlins and shit. Our ancestors. And survived it. So I ain't trying to hear all that, man. We got our kids are bright, wonderful, smart kids, and the spots they got, they earn that shit. And can't nobody else tell me anything different. And that's what I got to say.
Okay.
Well said,
Like
brother.
that. I loved it. Great, greatest, great response. So stay on, brothers. After we get off, basically, look, everybody out there, understand when you see this, because you know what? I'll be honest with you. I need to see more. I don't give a shit that it's a Friday. You are not that busy. Check in with us. It takes 30 seconds to check in and say hello, especially with my friend group. Check in and say hello. Man, what the fuck? Shit is fuck. Look, yeah, I'm complaining. You know why? Because I'm the first one to step up for any of you guys to do whatever. Am I begging? Fuck no. What I'm saying to you is I'm talking with plain truth. That's all I can do. Say hello. Am I shaming you into saying hello? If you feel I'm shaming you, do not say hello. You know what I'm saying?
But don't forget
Because
to
you know
smash
why?
that button.
My thing is, just go. Go to take 30 seconds, man. Because you surf YouTube all the time. Mash that subscribe button. There's nothing wrong with that. Y'all know our content. Y'all know what we about. That's it. I ain't gonna say no more because I don't need to say no more. What I'm saying to you is this: like, share, and subscribe. Strong Perspective Podcast. You know why? Because we're giving you something. If you listen to us for 30 seconds, you went away with some heat. You want to know why? Because excluding the fact that we are three super intelligent people and we have guests that are super intelligent has nothing to do with it. It's the simple fact that you know us, you know who we are, and you supporting what we're doing. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the Strong Perspective Podcast, and understand that we're going to keep showing up, and it is a movement. You want to put it in underground? All right, fuck it. Put it in underground. But we ain't trying to sneak nowhere. This is a movement. You know what the movement is about? The movement is about conversation. If you made it this far in an hour and 29 minutes, if you made it this far, understand this is about conversation. I said it throughout the whole episode. Come fuck with us. This is what it's about. Guess what? We're gonna break through. We're gonna break through. Don't be that motherfucker, male or female. Don't be that motherfucker like, Yo, I'm gonna subscribe to y'all. Yo, I knew y'all was gonna make it. Well, we knew we was gonna make it. Know what I mean? But we ain't gonna shame you. You know what I'm saying? Why? What's the point?
Uh-oh.
What's the point? It's all love here. It's all love. Period. I've already met my quota. You know what my quota was? Looking at Damon and Jaquari on the screen twice a week. I'm good. But guess what? You'll be good when you see us and you hear what we're talking about. The Strong Perspective Podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. Especially subscribe. I wish I can. I wish I can sing like Luther, like right. Look, I'll leave that to both my brothers because they can carry a damn note. I can't. Any last words, Damon?
No, man. Pretty much said everything, brother.
All right, bring us on home, Jaquari.
Like, share, and subscribe.
That's what I'm talking
Strong
about.
Perspective Podcast, baby. Come on, ride with us and get what you need.
That's real. The Strong Perspective Podcast. We're going to be here. Fuck with us. Y'all have a great weekend. It's all love. Good night to you.